Tonight on CTV News at 6.
Oh yeah, it slowed right down to nothing because it's ice.
Snow and ice causing problems on roads, people struggling to get in, out, and around Edmonton.
I'm not quite sure why everyone is so anxious to rush to an election.
The Premier pours cold water on election talk after one minister quits her portfolio.
Oh, I'm going to attend, but I'm going to complain about it.
New year, new rules, and new costs. The changes you can expect in 2026 at the office, rec centers, and the grocery store.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Kent Morrison.
Good evening. Today, Premier Daniel Smith was dogged with questions about rumors and speculation of a possible early election. The Premier says the rumors are not true, and those with election fever will have to wait until 2027. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
We do have two different swearing-ins today, but let's begin.
The swearing-in of new Environment Minister Grant Hunter in Calgary today, as well as new Chief Government Whip Justin Wright. The move was necessitated by the New Year's Eve announcement by former Environment Minister Rebecca Schultz that she would leave cabinet immediately and caucus in May.
Rebecca has served her province as a cabinet minister for over 6 years with distinction in a number of extremely challenging files.
I want to thank former Minister Schultz for her service to the people of Alberta, and I want to wish Grant Hunter the best of luck.
Political scientist Lori Williams says the loss of someone like Schultz will make it tough for her replacement, who she says has less of the contacts and credibility the role needs.
Her replacement is not the moderate, broadly appealing kind of minister that Rebecca Schultz was. And there's no question that Rebecca Schultz fit that bill much better than Grant Hunter does.
Hunter did not speak to media after his appointment. At today's press conference, Smith was asked again about rumors of an early election call.
Our fixed election date is set for October 18th of 2027. I'm not quite sure why everyone is so anxious to rush to an election. The incredible polling I've seen suggests we do very, very well in an early election. And so we've got a mandate that we want to execute over the next 2 years, and we intend to continue doing so.
They don't have a strategy. Everything we know is they change their mind on the daily based on how popular they think they are.
Williams says the government is weighing its options with oil prices down and the Auditor General's healthcare procurement report on the horizon.
We just don't know what their internal polls are saying right now, but they've definitely taken a hit in the public opinion polls that are publicly available.
A potential way to reverse negative polls, a pipeline to the West Coast. Smith says that work is something her new environment minister will be a part of. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
The group petitioning for a referendum question on Alberta separation can begin collecting signatures tomorrow. Alberta's chief electoral officer has issued petition signature sheets for the referendum petition. The Alberta Prosperity Project wants Albertans to vote on the question, do you agree that the province of Alberta should cease to be part of Canada to become an independent state? The group has until May 2nd to collect nearly 178,000 signatures. A previous petition on a separation referendum had been under judicial review before the UCP government made amendments to the Citizens Initiative Act. Well, consistent snowfall has caused snow clearing crews in the city to start over multiple times in the past few weeks. Many are hoping they can make it to residential roads soon. As CTV's Merrick DeCash reports, they may just get through those conditions to do it next week.
It's been a tough week of driving for Sabrina Finley.
I get stuck everywhere I go. Doesn't matter where.
The roads have been a mess this week after heavy dumps of snow and rain. Residential roads have not been cleared yet, and some drivers are not happy.
Well, I think it's atrocious that it's not cleared. I actually live out of town and in a small village, and our streets are cleared when the others, and you come to town and they're worse than town.
They've been a lot better previous years, and they are lacking, especially on the side roads. Like the side roads are really bad.
The city says crews are working 24/7 to clear major roadways and bus routes.
I hope that they get more people to clean the residential roads faster. Yeah, that's all I can really ask for.
Crews have had to contend with more snow this year compared to other years. The city says from November 1st to New Year's Day, 72 centimeters of snow has fallen. During that time frame last year, 42 centimeters of snow hit the ground.
Actually, we just compiled the statistics for the month of December, and Edmonton received 50.2 millimeters of precipitation, and that is actually 425% of the normal precipitation for the month of December.
According to Environment Canada, heavy snow is not supposed to fall for the next week and a half. 2 small waves of snow are expected this weekend.
The first wave is going to be happening today, and then another one tomorrow. But as I mentioned, looking at maybe 2 centimeters with each of these systems that are tracking through.
The city says details on a residential parking ban will be announced sometime next week. Merrick Takash, CTV News, Edmonton.
Now, the highways around the city are treacherous. RCMP issuing a travel advisory for a section of Highway 2 near Leduc after 5 crashes in about an hour and a half this morning. The winter weather impacting travel not only on the road, but in the air. CTV's Jeremy Thompson has more.
It's a scene right out of a travel ad for somewhere warm. Drivers navigating an icy and slow QE2 highway, while even airplanes are impacted by the weather. Dozens of flights in and out of YEG have been delayed today. An airport spokesperson confirms one was even canceled because of winter weather. If drivers manage to maneuver through mashed potato snow at a rest stop, they'll happily tell you how bad the highway is.
Oh yeah, it slowed right down to nothing because it's ice.
We do put the brakes and we don't know where the cars are going, and so much hazards on the road as well.
511 shows road conditions are questionable all around Edmonton. The pink to the west shows those highways are waiting for a proper plow, and all that yellow indicates ice.
The more farther north we go, and the worse it's gotten.
Where are you headed? Where are you coming from?
St. Walburg, Saskatchewan.
Okay.
A ways to go yet. I'm hoping it gets better, but I don't think it will.
In fact, RCMP issued a travel advisory for this stretch of Highway 2 between Leduc and Wetaskiwin after 5 crashes in about 90 minutes.
Vehicles going off the road, vehicles striking one another on off-ramps and on-ramps, and rear-end collisions near those ramps as well.
If you can postpone or outright cancel travel plans that involve highway driving, RCMP advised doing so, though not everyone feels they have that option.
You're heading back to BC now?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about the drive ahead?
Not good. Not good. I know what's there.
If you decide to drive, experts advise taking it slow. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well, new rules and new prices are in store for Edmontonians as we begin 2026. CTV's Gates Warren breaks down what you can expect this year.
If your New Year's resolutions include getting fit at one of the city's rec centers, be prepared to pay a bit more. Prices for admission and memberships went up January 1st. An annual household membership now up $56.
Oh, I'm going to attend, but I'm going to complain about it.
Something you really want to do, you enjoy doing, you'll find a way to make it work.
That's not the only price jump Edmontonians can expect. A 6.9% jump in the property tax means around $245 more for the average homeowner. Canada's food price report predicts a family of 4 will spend almost $1,000 more on groceries this year. Cost is not the only change. Provincial public service workers are heading back to the office full-time next month.
When it comes to the health of the economy downtown, we are incredibly excited.
The Downtown Business Association understands not everyone will go back to a full-time office model, but it says local businesses and downtown vibrancy can only benefit from more people in the area.
An influx of people, especially around that government center area. There's a lot of businesses there that, have been holding on, hoping for this.
The question is really, what do we want in terms of service provided to Albertans, in the case of, the public servants in Alberta, or for any industry?
One occupational medicine specialist says there are pros with continuing to have remote work, like less traffic and positive mental health effects.
In my occupational medicine experience, work from home is a tool that we can use to adjust the working conditions so workers can keep on working.
Even though it's early, Edmonton can expect 2026 to be quite the year of change. Gates Gore, CTV News, Edmonton.
Tonight is the final night to visit Candy Cane Lane. However, you can continue to donate to Edmonton's food bank through the weekend. For 57 years, neighbors in Crestwood have invited people through their neighborhood to enjoy the lights and leave a donation. The food bank says most years, Candy Cane Lane accounts for about 10% of its overall food goal. This year, attendance was down before Christmas. At that time, the food bank said it had collected 2,600 kilograms of food, about a third of what was collected last year. It had received about $5,000 in cash donations, less than half of the $12,000 target. Though tonight is the final day the lane is open, the food bank donation bins will stay through the weekend. And some Edmontonians chose to celebrate the start of 2026 with a countdown at noon on New Year's Day.
3, 2, 1.
These people gathering inside Spilt Zero Proof, the province's first mocktail bar. The owner says many people do not want to stay up or drink alcohol to ring in the new year. The New Year's party offers people the chance to celebrate without feeling left out.
And I find a lot of people are wanting to celebrate in a more quiet, sort of reflective way at home. So this gives them an opportunity to have that party feeling and the sequins and the countdown without having to stay out too late and, you know, maybe be around a lot of alcohol, which just isn't for everybody.
The owner calls dry January the Super Bowl and the busiest time of the year. The first new babies born in Alberta of 2026 came out at the exact same time, 12:03 a.m. Curl welcomed into the world by parents Stephanie and Elric at the Grey Nuns Community Hospital here in Edmonton. Baby boy weighing 6 pounds, 4 ounces. The other first newborn of the year is another baby boy, Theodore. He was born to Sarah and Sebastian at South Health Campus in Calgary, tipping the scales at 8 pounds, 6 ounces. The city's extreme weather response is now in effect because temperatures are expected to drop heading into the weekend. It's expected to hit minus 20 degrees Celsius and feel colder with the wind chill. The Al Rashid Mosque will remain open as an overnight shelter with up to 50 extra spaces. The Bissell Center also serves as a navigation spot for people to find 24/7 emergency shelters, health services, and housing support. If you do see someone who needs help, you can call the crisis diversion team at 211. Now let's throw things over to Kaylin Mitchell, filling in for Josh with your first look at the forecast.
Thank you, Kent. And I thought we'd just start off with a recap of the conditions that we've had in around the city for today. It's been a cold day with the temperature pretty close to minus 14 for most of it. The average high temperature this time of year around minus 8 and the average low temperature of around minus 16. Nowhere near the records for either the highs or the lows for this date. And it was quite cold last year with the daytime high temperature close to minus 17 and the low temperature of around minus 28. Here's what's ahead over the next 24 hours for the city. Now, there is still a chance of some flurries this evening, but that chance of flurries basically comes to an end by the time we get to around midnight. Partly cloudy conditions during the overnight with the low temperature headed down to around minus 19 as a light northerly wind becomes light from the east by the time we hit the start of the day for tomorrow. Now, first thing in the morning is around 30-40% chance of some flurries in and around the city. Cloudy conditions follow after that by the time we get to around noon, and the easterly wind does pick up a little bit, becoming sustained between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour. Cold tomorrow with a high temperature around minus 17, and then developing late in the afternoon and extending into the evening. Some periods of what looks like it's going to be some relatively light snow with maybe some snowfall amounts in the range of around 1 to 4 centimeters. Now, if you are traveling in towards central and southern areas of Alberta, there are some fog advisories in effect. That is because there are some areas of dense fog present, so reduced visibility, and there's also a risk of seeing some patchy freezing drizzle. I'll have more on the forecast when I'm back just a little bit later on. Kent.
All right, Kaylin, thank you. Well, still ahead, Calgarians forced to conserve water.
Now, the second time around, I think people will have in their mind to just avoid this area totally, knowing that, hey, anything can go wrong with the pipe anytime.
A burst water main launches vehicles into the air, sends drivers scrambling, and forces a boil water advisory. Also next,
we can't seem to attract a stable Canadian workforce.
Alberta farmers and beekeepers worry new rules from Ottawa could affect their bottom line and yours.
Brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The city officials in Calgary say water conservation is the focus in the aftermath of a catastrophic water main burst Tuesday night. Stephanie Thomas has the latest.
Sports Rent provides winter sports gear for customers headed west towards the mountains on the Trans-Canada Highway. The 2 weeks around the holidays are typically the busiest of the year. After the water main burst nearby in Bowness earlier this week, Sports Rent has taken a hit.
Yes, we are open for business, so it might be a little trickier to get here, but we're open and ready to serve, and so please come down.
The major route, also known as 16th Avenue, is closed for water main repair work. This viewer video shows the moment the pipe burst on Tuesday night. Vehicles are launched by the water pressure. Drivers moments later jump from atop their car to get to safety. City officials say work to repair the source of the rupture is underway, and road closures east of Sarcee Trail are expected until later this month. Some affected Montgomery business owners are worried for their bottom lines.
This is the second time I've been affected by the water break.
Water restrictions followed 4 months after the Bears Paw feeder main collapsed in the summer of 2024. Once again, he's worried the water crisis will keep customers away.
I request that the city has a break for us, or even cover us just for our overhead, or even forgive our business improvement tax for the year.
Residents of Montgomery, Parkdale, Point McKay, and West Hillhurst remain under a boil water advisory until further notice.
Definitely a little strange. We're definitely in the thick of it in the northwest, I guess.
Officials say the affected pipe is 50 years old. Premier Danielle Smith is calling out previous city leaders for failing to maintain water infrastructure.
Frustration doesn't begin to describe what we're seeing with what happened in Calgary.
And residents across Calgary are asked not to run the tap, dishwasher, or laundry machine as often, as the city is under stage 4 water restrictions.
That feeder main feeds 60-70% of the city. And so the rest of the city has to do a really good job at reducing their water use so we don't put as much pressure onto the system.
Well, a third of temporary foreign workers hired in Canada fall under the agricultural stream. With new rules being put in place by Ottawa, that number could be reduced. As CTV's Miriam Valdez-Carletti reports, some Alberta farmers are worried about the potential impact on their business.
It takes a lot more than these busy bees to produce nearly 600,000 kilograms of honey a year. Nixon Honey Farms has been relying on the help of temporary foreign workers since 1998.
And we were quite smaller at that time, running less hives, and we started with just one worker and eventually 2 workers.
The farm now employs 18 seasonal and temporary foreign workers. In September, Ottawa announced it would reduce the number of temporary foreign workers allowed into Canada to 230,000 in 2026, down from 368,000. The measures were introduced due to recent high employment. Like many Alberta farmers, Nixon says he's tried to hire Canadians without much success.
It's hard manual labor, and we're lifting a lot of boxes, we're working in the heat. It's just one of these jobs in agriculture that we can't seem to attract a stable Canadian workforce.
And speaking with a lot of beekeepers, they don't want to get stung on the job, and kids don't want to work that hard 12 hours a day.
In response to the cuts, the Alberta Federation of Agriculture outlined a series of recommendations for the federal government to help farmers. The Federation says producers were anxious when they heard the program could impact how many temporary foreign workers they hire.
We have some of the most productive producers in all the world. And they simply want to have access to the people and the tools to make sure they have the best outcome possible.
Employment and Social Development Canada says temporary foreign workers account for 1% of Canada's workforce. Last year, more than a third of those workers were in agriculture. While Nixon says his farm is still operating as usual for now, he's worried about potential cuts.
I honestly don't know what we would do. Possibly looking at selling part of the business or downsizing.
The AFA says if farmers need to pay more for labor, that cost will trickle down to your dinner plate.
Or we're not going to have enough product, which means, less selection or less availability at the grocery store.
Employment and Social Development Canada didn't say how many agriculture positions would be reduced in the temporary foreign programs. It says it generally exempts the measures in agriculture and food processing. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
Team USA Hockey revealed its Olympic roster today. Both Tkachuk brothers will suit up for their country, taking on Oilers captain Connor McDavid and Team Canada. Now, recently on their podcast, the Tkachuks talked about animosity with Edmonton.
Zach Kassian is incensed. I didn't realize at the time this was huge, and it brought back classic Battle of Alberta. I'm just a 21-year-old kid just having fun playing hockey.
The brothers were discussing January of 2020, Matthew Tkachuk, who then played for the Calgary Flames, igniting a heated rivalry with Oilers enforcer Zach Kassian, leading to a war of words in the media, a suspension for Kassian, and fans calling Tkachuk a turtle. Tkachuk revealed the Flames had to bring in extra security when he played next in our city, giving him a pseudonym at the hotel and changing his transportation to Rogers Place.
They brought security, our own security, and maybe a cop from Calgary up to stay with us. And everybody walks to the rink for the games. They're like, Matthew, you have to take the bus. I'm like, all right, whatever. It doesn't really make any sense. Bus for one.
Tkachuk says the whole thing is a highlight of his career, and he has done plenty to earn the ire of Oilers fans, including the past 2 years defeating the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final as a member of the Florida Panthers. Well, stay with us. Coming up, record-breaking snowfall.
I could barely sit in my seat. I looked right at my brother and I was like, yo, look at how much we're getting.
Skiers are stoked with the conditions, while Parks Canada reminds Albertans about safety.
The single biggest hazard in the wintertime is avalanches.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Well, persistent snowfall has blanketed much of Alberta for weeks. In Banff National Park, Lake Louise Ski Resort is having a record year for snow so far. As CTV's Tyler Barrow explains, the winter weather has Parks Canada reminding anyone heading to the backcountry to put safety first.
As the new year begins, more than 500 centimeters of snow has fallen at Lake Louise Ski Resort, a record amount for this time of year.
It's just really nice to be getting out here and finally seeing everything fill in.
Oh, 100%, yeah. It's feet of powder.
I was on the plane and I was checking the forecast and I was like, I could barely sit in my seat. I looked right at my brother and I was like, yo, look at how much we're getting.
Never before has the hill broken the 500 centimeter threshold by December. All 13 lifts are in operation while nearly every run is open.
Energy around here it's electric. It's just, everyone is so excited.
The dump has allowed the hill to fully open Richardson's Ridge 3 months earlier than anticipated, featuring 200 acres of new terrain. Some are ditching the hill for the backcountry.
It's been a good year for snow. Avalanche conditions haven't been the best, but hopefully it gets better.
Parks Canada wants to remind those heading into the backcountry to check avalanche conditions and have the proper equipment.
We're definitely into the height of the winter, and the single biggest hazard in the wintertime is avalanches.
Recently, Avalanche Canada launched a new database on its website documenting every known avalanche fatality in Canada all the way back to 1792.
So our motivation is to learn from past incidents, and that informs the education that we do and it informs the forecasting processes.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Lake Louise.
Now for a full look at your forecast, here's Caitlin Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you again, Kent. So we've had a little bit of snow in and around the city over the last couple of days. Some weather stations in the vicinity of Edmonton have reported some amounts up to around 5 centimeters and a little bit more of some flurries and some lighter snow on the way in over the next 24 hours. In fact, there's still a chance of some flurries in and around the city through the first part of this evening. But as we head to the overnight, it's just cloudy periods, remaining mostly cloudy heading into the start of the day on Saturday. And Saturday morning, again, some flurries in the vicinity. So that'll be about 30-40% chance chance of seeing those flurries in and around, say, the city center. Now, moving into the afternoon, there'll be cloudy skies, and by what time we get into the late afternoon, extending into the evening and night, another round of snow moving through with the potential of some snowfall amounts of around 1 to 4 centimeters. So a little bit further in the way of some snow accumulation expected in around Edmonton over the next 24 hours. There will be some snowier conditions if you're headed towards Lloydminster. They could pick up around 5 to 10 centimeters of snow, or towards the northwest if you're headed up towards Grand Prairie, possible that they could see around 5 to 10 centimeters of snow as well. And speaking of those areas sitting to the north of Edmonton, during the day on Sunday, and this looks like it'll be mostly afternoon and into the evening and nighttime hours, another round of some snow is expected to move in and through, and that could bring some totals by the end of the weekend up to around 5 to 10 centimeters for locations like High Prairie, as well as up towards Fort McMurray. Taking a look at our temperatures for tomorrow morning, it's going to be a cold start to the day for most of the province, minus 20s north of the city. Most of the rest of the province starting the day with temperatures well down into the minus teens. Here's a look at our forecast for Saturday, and high temperatures tomorrow around Edmonton, well down into the minus teens, around the range of around minus 16 to minus 19. Colder than that towards Peace River and high level into the minus 20s there. A red day for tomorrow, the high temperature around minus 12. Calgary around minus 8 and Lethbridge at around minus 1. Let's take a look at the outlook for temperatures as we make our way through the end of this weekend into the start of next week. It remains cold through the weekend, but some signs that the edge of that cold is going to be coming off the air as we head towards Tuesday and Wednesday. And that shows up as well as we get into our extended forecast. So here's the next 5 days. So first of all, cold through the weekend, chance of flurries for Monday morning, but then you can see the daytime high temperatures moderating just a little bit Tuesday into Wednesday. Tuesday's high around minus 4, and on Wednesday closer towards minus 6. And that trend in moderating temperatures does extend towards the end of next week. So taking a look at our extended forecast, on Thursday it's cloudy with sunny breaks and a high temperature of around minus 6. On Friday after that, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of around minus 8. Near zero on Saturday with a chance of flurries. After that on Sunday, January 11th, a mix of sun and cloud and a high temperature of around minus 2, and similar conditions expected on the following Monday. Kent.
All right, Caitlin, thank you. Well, the FBI says it stopped a New Year's Eve attack. The details are coming up. Plus,
they are the young people who came for the holidays here in the mountains.
Investigators believe a deadly fire in Switzerland was caused by sparklers in champagne bottles. And it will swoop in if protesters in Iran are killed.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Investigators in Switzerland believe sparklers on champagne bottles started a deadly fire in a bar at a popular ski resort. The fire killed 40 people, injuring 119 others. The flames broke out early Thursday morning during a New Year's celebration. Witnesses say that people tried to escape a nightclub in the basement up a narrow flight of stairs, causing a crowd surge. Officials say the fire likely caused a flashover, a situation where hot gases rise to the ceiling and spread across the walls, igniting any combustible items in the room. Most of the injured have now been identified.
It is a tragedy because the majority, I imagine, of the people touched by this drama, they are the young people who came for the holidays here in the mountains.
Hundreds of mourners held a vigil for the victims last night, laying tributes and flowers at the entrance of the road leading down to the bar. Several establishments in the area have closed out of respect. Prime Minister Mark Carney will travel to Europe next week as talks to end the war in Ukraine intensify. The Prime Minister's office says Mark Carney will be in Paris on Monday and Tuesday to meet with the Coalition of the Willing, a group of 35 of Ukraine's staunchest allies. Last week, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump leaving that meeting, insisting that Ukraine and Russia were closer than ever to a peace deal. The Canadian government is condemning Chinese military drills near Taiwan. Beijing conducted 2 days of exercises this week. Global Affairs says Canada opposes any unilateral attempts to change the status quo across the Taiwan Strait. It says the waterway is indispensable to the security and prosperity of the international community. And the start of the new year means the start of Canada's new immigration policies, which include accepting fewer residents, international students, and temporary workers. As CTV's Rachel Aiello reports, that means skilled workers who can fill critical labor gaps in high-demand jobs may have the upper hand.
For many wanting to call Canada home, the latest immigration levels plan has injected uncertainty into the year ahead. For example, the federal government is cutting the number of international students it'll accept this year in half. A reduction this PhD candidate, who came to Canada from Iran in 2021 to do cancer research, says while necessary, has left many prospective students in limbo.
They don't feel welcome here. They were invited to come here. They were accepted to come here. And now they're just caught in this perfect storm.
Canada will also be accepting fewer temporary workers this year.
They're more focused on labor shortages now.
Overall, the government plans to admit 380,000 permanent residents in 2026, down from the target of 395,000 admissions in 2025.
There's always winners and losers. The winners are going to be the Canadians, particularly the young Canadians looking for that entry-level job that has been occupied by a foreign national. The losers are going to be the foreign nationals who came here with false promises of permanent residence.
While it may be shaping up to be a challenging year for the thousands with temporary status who can't stay, Canada is offering express entry for prospective newcomers who speak French or have skills in key sectors, such as trades, agriculture, engineering, education, and healthcare.
Instead of a broad, open arms approach to immigration, it's more selective now. It's more focused on ensuring that the economy can absorb their permanent residents and the workers coming in.
Linked to the shift towards prioritizing economic immigrants is a plan to spend more than $1 billion on a new international talent attraction strategy to incentivize leading researchers and innovators to come to Canada. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The FBI says it thwarted an alleged ISIS-inspired attack on New Year's Eve. A man from North Carolina allegedly began interacting with an undercover agent online.
He pledged his allegiance to ISIS with that undercover agent, and he disclosed his plans to, quote, do jihad soon. He then met a second undercover with the FBI, who he also thought was an ISIS participant, and he started to be very specific with his plans.
One man is facing charges of attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization. The FBI says while searching his home, agents found a handwritten document called New Year's Attack 2026, allegedly discussing plans to stab up to 20 people and attack responding officers. U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening to intervene in Iran as economic protests sweep across parts of the Islamic Republic. Trump says that if Iran kills peaceful protesters, the United States will, quote, come to their rescue. At least 7 people have been killed so far in violence surrounding the demonstration sparked by the collapse of Iran's currency.
How is he going to rescue people that are being killed or rescue those who are there? And that's just completely, ludicrous to think about that. And also, a regime change is just like a glass of water that is on your desk. If you break it, you get cut, and it goes anywhere. You can't control that either. So it's a bit of a false promise for Iran and for the rest of the world.
The secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council has claimed Israel and the United States are stoking the demonstrations. He offered no evidence to support those allegations. And Venezuela's president is proposing serious talks with Donald Trump about drug trafficking and access to Venezuelan oil. The New Year's Eve interview marks a shift in Nicolas Maduro's tone toward the United States since the Trump administration launched a large-scale military buildup in the Southern Caribbean. Maduro says Venezuela is a brother country to the U.S. Trump has accused Maduro of running a narco state and threatened to remove him from power. Maduro strongly denied links to crime and had said the United States is working to oust him to take control of Venezuelan oil and mineral deposits. Well, fireworks are not the only things to be seen in the sky in the new year. Also known as the Wolf Moon, the first supermoon of 2026 will be visible this weekend. The moon is going to be closer than normal, making it appear larger and brighter. The Wolf Moon's light may make it tougher to see the other big celestial event, which is the Quadranid meteor shower. It's going to reach peak activity Saturday evening, and it will be active through January 16th. Well, Disney Plus is giving a sneak peek at the upcoming one-night return of the Muppets show.
Back on the very stage where it all started and then ended and is maybe starting again depending on how tonight goes.
Kermit, Miss Piggy, and many more iconic Jim Henson characters will return for a special event February 4th, featuring appearances from Sabrina Carpenter and Seth Rogen. As the trailer suggests, the special could set the stage for a full relaunch of the series 50 years after the debut of the original. We'll still ahead a look into the bulging wallets of Canada's top executives.
Yeah, CEOs have always been paid more than the average worker, but it's the gap that has really grown substantially.
A new survey shows how quickly wages for CEOs have risen in the past few years and just how fast the gap is widening between executives and the average worker. Plus,
some of those products may not have gone through proper safety testing.
Picking out a pacifier, what to consider to make sure your child is safe while falling.
Programming brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
Take a look at today's markets. The Canadian dollar traded for 72 cents to the American dollar. Oil down 10 cents, closing the day at around $57 US a barrel. Gold was down around $11. The TSX gained 170 points. The Dow Jones gaining 319. Well, it's been a record year for earnings for Canada's top 100 CEOs. A new report also highlights the growing income gap between executives and the average worker. CTV's Kamal Karamali reports.
Here at Canada's busiest mall, new items stocked for the new year, but affording them.
Are you able to afford shopping?
No. Is a different story.
The cost of living, it's become really hard.
Especially for the many here making minimum wage.
I feel bad because I can't buy expensive things for my friends and family.
Elizabeth and Jillian work as servers. The holidays may have left them high in spirit, but low on cash.
It's crazy that there's billionaires and millionaires while people can't even afford to eat.
Now a new report shows Canada's top CEOs making the first day and a half of the new year what the average worker makes in an entire year.
Yeah, CEOs have always been paid more than the average worker, but it's the gap that has really grown substantially.
The average Canadian worker made just over $65,000 in 2024. Compare that to the average pay for Canada's top 100 CEOs at more than $16 million, which is a new record. That's 248 times the salary of the average Canadian. And that pay gap has been climbing for years. CEOs were paid 50 times more than the average Canadian worker in the 1980s. That increased to about 100 times in the 90s and to 150 in the 2000s, now hitting a new high.
When companies do well, the CEO sees huge expansion in their bonuses. And companies have been doing very well since the pandemic.
The head of Shopify topping the list with a new record at over $200 million, more than doubling the second highest paid CEO in Canada.
It's easier for CEOs to raise their own pay and not affect the profitability of the company than it is to raise worker pay, which has a much bigger impact on the profitability.
The report suggests implementing a millionaire's or wealth tax. The report also confirming what many have already reported, the costs of goods and services in Canada, like groceries, increasing at a much faster rate than workers' wages. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, pacifiers are a well-known way to help soothe babies to sleep, but experts say there are some types on the market that are safer than others. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
Pacifiers are a staple for new parents, soothing babies through tears, sleep, and even doctor visits. They can also help reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. But how safe are they? Since 2014, the Consumer Product Safety Commission received 178 reports involving pacifiers, including one death and cases of choking, biting off pieces, and getting fingers stuck in small holes. Consumer Reports tested 20 pacifiers for choking hazards, harmful chemicals, and durability. Most performed well, but a few raised red flags for risky attachments or confusing labels.
Unsafe pacifiers do make it into the marketplace.
Testers found questionable pacifiers online, from glittery blinged-out models with rhinestones, which could be a potential safety risk, to second-hand or vintage ones that don't meet safety standards.
That's why it gets tricky when shopping online, especially through third-party sellers. Some of those products may not have gone through proper safety testing.
When shopping on sites like Amazon, Walmart, or Temu that allow third-party sellers, it's recommended to go with trusted brands and to check that listings confirm safety testing. But it's not just an issue online. Researchers found a pacifier at a local store missing the required safety warning. A reminder to be careful whenever you shop for baby products. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Well, coming up after the break, a final look at your forecast, plus...
It's the highlight of my week, coming out for breakfast every Friday morning.
A coffee shop quartet bringing the baritone to breakfast. An a cappella group in Calgary has harmonized for decades, hitting the notes between friendship and performance. And their favorite venue does not involve a stage, rather the breakfast booth. CTV's Tyson Fedor reports.
Let me hear you whisper
the deep baritone voices, harmonizing at the highest level. No instruments, all a cappella. This barbershop quartet and friends sing tunes over a cup of coffee and hot breakfast every week.
It's the highlight of my week, coming out for breakfast every Friday morning.
Doug Spensley, Doug Marwood, Jim Bell, and Greg Verhappen have been singing together for several years. Marwood started the original group nearly 5 decades ago.
Most often the guys I sing with, once they start singing in the quartet, stay singing in the quartet. This kind of thing is one of my favorite things.
All of them are members of the Stampede City Chorus.
I think all of us have always been involved in singing, and that's what brings us together. It turns out that for old men like us, getting together with other old men is a good way to stay healthy.
The group will sing at service clubs and nursing homes. Anywhere an audience will lend an ear.
If we have a busy week, we probably are singing 6 or 7 times.
And while the Deerhead Cafe off Edmonton Trail in the northeast part of the city is their go-to spot, the group will perform anytime for anyone.
We think it sounds pretty good when we sing. At least it sounds good in here. Don't know what it sounds like out there because I've never been out there.
1, 2, 3. It's great to be a barbershopper.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, that is singing for your supper. As we head into the weekend, here's Caitlin Mitchell with your forecast.
Well, here's our last check-in on what kind of weather conditions we can expect over the next 24 hours. Heading through tonight, cold one for the city. Low temperature head down to around -19. That is below the averages for early January. We do have a chance of flurries first thing this evening and cloudy periods overnight, and then a returning chance of flurries for the start of the day for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be mostly cloudy and around Edmonton, and then another round of snow developing late afternoon but extending into the evening, and there could be some snowfall amounts in the range of around 1 to 4 centimeters. Kent.
All right, Caitlin, thank you very much. That is our show this evening. For news anytime, visit ctvnewsedmonton.ca, or you can now visit the CTV channel on YouTube. Have a great weekend.